Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love to the author and me. On to the show. I heard that it's been a while since the leaderboard reset, and these big guys have finally started to exert their strength. Just as Lin You was observing the list, the voices of the other lords came up. Resetting so soon? Is that coming again? You mean, Monster Riot? It shouldn't be wrong. After the monster riots appear, the secret realm will also be affected, and the difficulty will be greatly increased. It will not be easy to brush resources again. Yeah, don't talk about the secret realm. It is difficult to go to the main plane of monsters to collect the origin of the territory. It is estimated that these big guys want to spend more resources in the last few days. The origin of the territory, I really want to go, but unfortunately my strength doesn't allow it. As they talked, the lords turned their heads in unison, looking at a huge island in the middle of the floating archipelago in the distance, with envious faces. Lin You stood aside, full of doubts. Monster Riot? Could it be the danger Ji Yunchuan told him before? Originally, he was still a little worried. After all, there would be monsters above the 10th order. But after hearing the few conversations behind the lords, his eyes suddenly lit up again. Territorial origin. They seem to have mentioned the origin of the territory just now. That is, the material for the 7th order territory to rise to the 8th order. It's really hard to find a place to break through the iron shoes, and it takes no effort to get it. Originally, Lin You was thinking of waiting to find out about the source, but he didn't expect to hear about it so quickly. Out of curiosity, he immediately pulled over a lord who looked quite honest and asked in a low voice. Brother, I want to ask, what is the origin of the territory you mentioned just now? His tone was very polite, and he immediately attracted the man's eyes and looked at him strangely. You don't even know the origin of the territory? That way, it was like watching a tribal savage. Lin You smiled awkwardly, and said, I really don't know, I just reached the 7th rank, and there are still many things I don't understand. So that's the case. The man suddenly realized, and couldn't help but glance at Lin You again, with a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. As a newcomer, there will always be a lot of things that you don't know at the beginning. He didn't think too much, and kindly explained it to Lin You. The origin of the territory is the extra material from the territorial upgrade after the 7th rank. There are 10 kinds in total, such as the natural origin of your plant system, the source of holy light of the angel system, or the source of destruction of the demon system. Where can I get this thing? Lin You asked, curiously. This is simple, you can get it by killing boss-level monsters in the main plane of monsters. Monster main plane? Yes, it is the main plane of monsters. The man nodded. You may not know when you first arrived, the main plane of monsters is connected to all realms. So the lords above the 7th rank will often go there to hunt and kill monsters, to collect the source. Look at the floating island in the center. Establish a space channel to the monster plane. As the man spoke, he stretched out his finger and pointed to the distance. Lin You looked in this direction, and sure enough, he saw an island that was obviously many times larger than other platforms floating in the middle of the archipelago, shrouded in a holy light. Looking from a distance, you can feel a strong sense of oppression. From time to time, you can even see a few terrifying dragons circling back and forth on the edge of the island. On the island, a huge crack that seemed to devour everything around stood there, and beast roars continued to come from inside. How is it? Isn't it spectacular? You can go there and see for yourself if you have a chance. The man said enthusiastically, but I advise you not to go there for the time being. Why? Because there is news that there will be a riot in a few days, and the space barrier between us and the main plane of the monster will become very weak, which is the most dangerous time. Is there such a thing? Lin You was stunned. What he guessed just now was right, the monster riot was the one he was familiar with. There will be a large number of monsters of the 8th and 9th orders, and even more than 10 orders, and may even encounter high-level lords of other realms. When this time passes, it is no doubt that he will die. The main plane of this monster is really dangerous. After being surprised, he immediately said gratefully, "Thank you brother for letting me know, I will pay attention." "Haha, it's a trivial matter, don't be polite to me, by the way, my name is Manhwa, what should I call my brother?" "Lin You." "Lin You? Good name." Manhwa grinned, and he was also hearty. Then he enthusiastically chatted with Lin You about the origin of the territory, then left the platform and rushed to the secret realm with his companions. And Lin You, who got the news of the source of nature, did not stop there, left the platform directly, and transmitted it to the city square below through the teleportation array on the edge of the platform. Since there are many dangers in the main plane of monsters, he naturally needs to take advantage of this time to improve his strength. At present, the fastest way for him to improve his strength is to create a large number of symbiotic moss that replicates the attributes, and then to collect the essence of the territory and upgrade more tier 8 arms. But no matter which one it is, it takes a lot of resources and time. Especially symbiotic moss. With good luck, 300,000 mana can mutate into one, but with bad luck, I am afraid that 600,000 may not be able to mutate. And the 2 million magic energy he just obtained by clearing the secret realm can only create 4 or 5, plus the development of the territory also requires magic energy. So, count down. The magic energy he lacks is more than 1.5 stars, and he is simply poor. Alas, it seems that I have to get something to sell for money first. Lin You sighed and looked inside his personal space. Before I got the treasure in the battlefield of myriad realms, I still have an angel-type territorial sacred object, a demon-type succubus token, and an experience ball that I just got. These can all be sold. Anyway, he didn't need it, and it was the most important thing, to replace it with magic energy, to improve himself. After thinking about it, he left the teleportation square and walked into one of the most lively streets. Gradually, he was attracted by the dazzling array of things on the street. Have to say, the heart of Uncharted Sanctuary is really bustling. Walking on the street, there are lords and cultivators coming and going, and there are screams and shouts that keep echoing in my ears. From time to time, he could see several teams of cultivators passing by, all carrying various weapons or magic weapons on their backs, making him feel like he was in a fantasy world. On both sides of the street, there are various shops, people come and go at the door, and the passenger flow is exaggerated. Lin You glanced around, then chose a shop called Wanbaelu and walked in. Because the name of this shop is the simplest and most direct, it is obvious that it is a place that sells all kinds of treasures, and it is also the largest shop on the entire street. As expected. As soon as he walked through the gate and entered the hall, he was startled by the dazzling array of treasures in front of him. At a glance, it turned out to be all kinds of treasures that he had never seen before. He even saw the arm's secret treasures and territorial sacred objects being sold in several light curtains protected by the formation, even the arm's tokens. Follow the others into the store, and click on the information of one of the weapon's secret treasures to check it out. Army treasure, the power of the beast. Treasure type, enhancement. Treasure level, a level. Treasure effect, increases strength by 2.5%, and has a 25% chance to add a forced knockback effect when attacking, which can be used by beast-type units. Introduction. The secret treasure used to strengthen the arms can be used in the base of the arms, and only a single type of arms can be strengthened. Price, 4999999. Depend on. A grade A secret treasure actually sold for 5 million. It's too dark. Lin You couldn't help but secretly complained in his heart. If so, wouldn't the A-level artifact he just obtained be sold for this price? This made him a little moved. But immediately, he cut off the idea. After all, this secret treasure on his body has improved a lot for him, and it would be too stupid to sell it. Afterwards, he continued to check the armor with a dark golden streamer on the side. Equipment, gilt breastplate. Level 8. Reverse shock, when attacked, 20% of the damage is rebounded and fed back to the attacker. Extra, unenchanted. Price, 500000. Okay? A piece of tier 8 equipment can actually sell for 500,000? Lin Yu was stunned. Immediately afterwards, his eyes suddenly became hot, and he suddenly discovered an excellent business opportunity to make money. That is to hunt and kill the 8th Order monsters, collect materials and go back to make equipment for the dwarves, and then sell them. Before, because the cost of materials was too high, he couldn't deal with the 8th Order monsters, so he cut off this way of making money. But now it is different. He has the strength to deal with the 8th Order monsters, he can be self-sufficient and earn a lot of money. Moreover, the equipment made by the dwarves is obviously of better quality than those made by ordinary craftsmen, so there is no need to worry about not being able to sell them. The only thing he lacks now is a better sales channel. After thinking about it, he nodded silently, then walked through the crowd of people coming and going in the hall, and find a shop steward who is doing bills at the counter. "Hello, I want to see your shopkeeper, is it inconvenient?" As soon as he stepped forward, Lin Yu directly explained his purpose. The steward was still counting the numbers, but after hearing Lin Yu's voice, he frowned and slowly raised his head. "What's the matter? Our shopkeepers don't usually meet people casually. If you have anything, just tell me directly." Although his words were polite, he could faintly hear the dissatisfaction in them. Seems to be annoyed that Lin Yu interrupted him. Especially when he saw that Lin Yu only had a 7th Order breath, his expression became even colder. Lin Yu also knew that he was abrupt, and did not show any strangeness, but continued, "I want to ask your shopkeeper if you accept equipment or not. My craftsmen can make equipment of the 8th rank and above for a long time." 8th Order equipment? The steward put down the cinnabar pen in his hand, and a trace of disdain flashed in his eyes. However, he still maintained his professional ethics and said lightly, "I'm sorry, our Wanbao building already has a fixed supply of equipment, and we only accept the most well-built equipment. If it is an ordinary 8th Order, please move to other stores." The meaning is very clear. Our Wanbaolu is a well-known store and does not accept garbage. Lin Yu is not stupid, he can naturally hear the meaning of the steward's words, and his brows gradually wrinkle. Obviously, the other party sees that he is only a 7th Order, and doesn't take him seriously at all. But just when he wanted to continue explaining, the steward's gaze suddenly looked past him and looked out the door, his eyes lit up. "Yo, isn't this young Master Jiang? What kind of wind brought you here?" As he spoke, he left Lin Yu to the side and met a figure who had just walked into the store. It was a luxurious young man dressed in a pale golden brocade robe, with a zhu yupe on his waist and a brocade ring around his waist, walking into the shop with a proud face. When the steward came to the young man, his attitude immediately changed 180 degrees, and the whole person became flattered, with a look of nodding and bowing. It was completely different from when he faced Lin Yu just now. "Isn't that the Prince Jiang Xingyan of the Furious Wave Kingdom?" "Jiang Xingyan? The one who was still number 1 in the Secret Realm standings this morning? How did he get here? I heard that he cleared the S-level Secret Realm at noon." "S-class? So fierce?" The low voices of other lords on the side continued to reach Lin Yu's ears, which made Lin Yu suddenly realize. At the same time very surprised. This young man who suddenly appeared was actually Jiang Xingyan from the insect department that he had seen in the Secret Realm standings before. Although he was already squeezed to 2nd place by others at noon, his strength should not be underestimated, and it seems that the other party seems to be the Prince of the Kingdom of Furious Waves. No wonder the steward is so respectful and flattering to him. Really? Store bullying is not just a joke. Seeing that the manager of this shop directly put him aside, without even saying a word, Lin Yu had no choice but to shake his head and gave up the plan to cooperate with this shop. He was too lazy to stay any longer, just silently glanced at Jiang Xingyan, then left the crowd and left the shop. And not long after he left, Jiang Xingyan, who walked into the shop, said lightly to the steward, "My equipment is broken, do you have equipment above the 10th rank?" Young Master Jiang is joking, the equipment above the 10th rank can only be created by a craftsman, and basically every piece that appears will be taken away by those saint-level powerhouses, let alone the 11th rank, that is only the dwarves. Something that can be made. The steward wiped the sweat from his forehead and smiled. There was one more thing he didn't say, that is, equipment above the 10th rank is basically sky-high. Even if Jiang Xingyan is a prince, he may not be willing to spend so much money to buy it. Jiang Xingyan also seemed to know that his request was difficult to achieve, and said casually, well, a 9th order one is fine. It must have the best attributes, preferably a defense-enhancing type. That's natural, we have already prepared it for young Master Jiang. The steward looked flattering, nodded and bowed, and his heart blossomed. The price of a piece of 9th order equipment is at least 1 million, and if the attributes are good, it can be sold for a sky-high price of 5 or 6 million. Just by selling this piece of equipment, he can get a lot of rebates, which is almost equivalent to more than half a month's wages, which makes him feel better in an instant. He also completely forgot about Lin You. The other side. Lin You, who left the shop, soon came to the lively street outside. After wandering for about half an hour, he finally found another shop on the corner of the street that sold all kinds of treasures. The shop is called Shifang, and it is located in the most inconspicuous place on the corner of the street. Compared with the Wanbao building just now, the scale and passenger flow are 108,000 miles away. No wonder there are no other similar shops on the whole street. It seems to be dominated by the Wanbaolu family. Without thinking much, I went straight into the store. Welcome, what do you want? Probably because there are few people, as soon as Lin You entered the door, a young guy greeted him immediately. There were still a few customers wandering around in the store, but they just looked back at Lin You, then looked back and continued to pick out the treasures. The whole shop is quiet, and it is much smaller than Wanbaolu, and even a little outdated. But it was swept clean without a trace of dust. Lin You looked around and said, I want to see your shopkeeper. I have something to discuss. I don't know if it's convenient. Want to see our shopkeeper? Then wait a moment, I'll report it right away. The same words get different answers. Just a response, the guy turned around and left in a hurry, and walked into the back hall of the store on the side. After a while, there was a mess of footsteps from inside. Guest, did you say you wanted to see me? What appeared was a middle-aged man who appeared to be in his 40s or 50s. With deep eyebrows and a square face, you can tell at a glance that he is a very capable type. It's just that there is a hint of sadness between his eyes, which makes him look gloomy. It's me, yes, you are the shopkeeper of this store, right? Lin You replied while looking at the other party. Almost 8th order cultivation base, and is a cultivator. In this sanctuary, it is not high, and even a little low. To be able to open a shop on such a central street, although it is only a street corner, it is enough to show that there are forces behind him, which makes him feel relieved. While he was looking at the shopkeeper was also looking at him secretly. When he saw that he was only at the 7th rank, he was only slightly surprised, and then said directly, yes, I am Lu Zhenxing, the shopkeeper of Shifang Pavilion. What is the guest looking for me? It's not very convenient here, why don't we talk somewhere else? Lin You glanced at several customers in the store. Lu Zhenxing understood and smiled slightly, alright, then invite the guests to the back hall to talk with me. After saying that, he made a gesture of invitation directly, and then walked into the hall. Lin You followed closely, walked through the back door with him, and sat down in the living room in the back hall. After the guy brought the tea and retire, Lin You said straight to the point, actually, I asked the shopkeeper to ask if Shifang Pavilion has any plans to buy a lot of equipment. Equipment? Lu Zhenxing was puzzled. Yes, it's equipment, and it's all equipment of the 8th order or above. If necessary, I can also help to create the 9th order or even 10th order equipment. What did you say? 10th order equipment? Lu Zhenxing was shocked and stood up from his seat. 10th tier equipment, it only requires a blacksmith at the level of a blacksmith. Moreover, the process is very complicated, and the construction cycle is extremely long. Almost every piece that appears will be scrambled by the major lords, practitioners, and forces. Some people even provided materials, spent a lot of money, and wanted to ask the craftsmen to help build it. just to get a 10th order equipment. Now Lin You said that he could help create equipment of this level. How could he dare to believe it? But seeing Lin Yu's confident look, he couldn't help swallowing again, in shock. If Lin You can really provide him with tier 10 equipment, that is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him, and even the entire Shifeng Pavilion. Are you sure you can really create tier 10 equipment? He asked in a trembling voice. Sure. Lin You nodded confidently. Regarding this, he confirmed with McGann. With the blessing of Thor's hammer, McGunn's forging level has already surpassed the level of the craftsman, and it is not a problem to create tier 1 equipment. The only thing that made him feel a little bit pained was that McGann would probably open his mouth and ask him for a lot of food, and he couldn't refuse. Ugh. It's really hard to feed a family. Now is a critical time for Huangsha City's population expansion and food shortage. It seems that after going back this time, it is necessary to increase the intensity of grain planting as soon as possible. By the way, I will discuss with McGann whether it can be postponed. Or earn more magic energy to buy food to get through this period of time. These ideas, it just flashed in Lin Yu's mind. Then he suddenly reacted and added, oh, by the way, my equipment was built with the help of dwarves, and the quality is absolutely guaranteed. Boom. Lu Zhenxing was shocked, his eyes suddenly widened. Dwarf. It was actually made of equipment by dwarves. In other words, there is a dwarf craftsman under the young man in front of him? How can that be? That's an existence that has to give 3 points even to the 10th rank. How can he serve under a 7th rank lord? Could it be that there are some terrifying forces behind this young man? It should be otherwise. Apart from this explanation, he really can't think of a more reasonable possibility. The power that can make the dwarf clan craftsman saint, even he can't imagine how powerful it will be, and the eyes of Lin You become different. But to be cautious, he continued, as long as you can help us build 10th order equipment, we will naturally purchase it with all our strength, and we can also provide the materials here, but this matter is very important, and I have to confirm it clearly. That's natural. Lin You nodded in understanding. After thinking about it for a while, he said, if that's the case, how about trying the 9th order materials first? Well, that's a good idea. Lu Zhenxing replied softly, if there are 9th order materials, I have some here, just in time to get you back and make a piece of equipment. Then I'll take something as collateral. No, you are our honored guest. We Shifeng Pavilion can still afford this material. Lu Zhenxing said arrogantly, and he left a good impression on Lin You. For this expression, Lin You naturally did not refuse. After chatting with Lu Zhenxing about some details of the cooperation in the living room, he got up and left, and led by Lu Zhenxing, he went outside the store. That incomparably polite look immediately caused several guys and other guests to look sideways with surprise in their eyes. Okay, it's okay to send it here. I'll come back to you in a few days after the equipment is finished. Okay, waiting for the driver at any time. After saying goodbye, Lin You left immediately. With the 9th order materials he just got from Lu Zhenxing, he hurried to the platform while wandering the street. The reason why Lin You disclosed about the dwarves was that Lin You had his own considerations in it. The first is to increase their cooperation chips. The second is because no one knows him when he just arrived here, so he doesn't have to worry about being targeted. When they were just negotiating, Lu Zhenxing also assured him that he would not reveal any information about him. After all, this is related to their grand plan for the rise of the Shifeng Pavilion. It is too late to hide it, so how can it be promoted everywhere? Especially when there is a Wanbao building on top of them, you have to be on guard. About this, Lin You heard Lu Zhenxing mention it just now. Wanbao and Shifeng belonged to two different family forces, and they were both selling treasures. The former has a wide range of influences, covering almost the entire sanctuary. The latter is much weaker, being crushed everywhere, and even forced to start developing other side jobs. The shops of other forces were either annexed or forced to close. Only Shifeng Pavilion is still struggling to make ends meet, so much so that it is not well received by the family now. That's why Lu Zhenxing is so eager to find an opportunity to rise, otherwise, if it continues like this, the Shifang Pavilion may not be far from closing. But these have nothing to do with Lin You for the time being. At this time, he had already crossed the street and returned to the floating platform, and then set up stalls like other lords. No way, the exchange fee is too high, and if you sell it to the store, the price will be very low. Anyway, he can teleport away directly on the platform, and he doesn't have to worry about safety issues at all. And in order to increase the deterrence, he also summoned Lingxi and Qinggang to his side to them. But the most important thing is the props he made in the production workshop some time ago. Prop name, Simple Booth. Props introduction, the booth can be placed anytime and anywhere, and is protected by rules, and items on the booth cannot be taken out without permission. Use consumption, 100 mana/hour. Have to say, there are really all kinds of strange things in the production workshop. And they are mainly props that tend to be lifelike. So when I saw this prop, Lin You just made one, but I didn't expect it to come in handy. It didn't take long for a lord to find something on his booth and was attracted. Brother, how do you sell the sacred relic of your territory? Next to the lord, there were several angel-type troops, naturally rushing towards the sacred relics of the territory. Especially when he saw the attributes of the sacred object, he was even more shocked and his eyes became hot. It actually added 5% of the skill power and 10% of the gain effect, so strong. Another lord who was shopping for goods also found something on Lin Yu's booth and couldn't help but exclaimed. It was precisely because of this exclamation that all the other lords around were attracted. What's the matter? Is there any good baby? Let me go, let me be healthy too. Hey! Such a perverted attribute, but there is still a territory gain? And there is one more attribute than the basic sacred object. What is this? Demon-type succubus token? Nanny. Succubus? Does this unit really exist? I have a friend who likes this kind of troops. I will ask him a price. The people at Lin Yu's booth gathered more and more. The exclamations also sounded one after another, causing others to stop and watch. Territory holy relics are different from military secret treasures. They are mainly used to increase the territory range, and only one can be activated at a time. The limitations are larger than the secret treasures of the arms. However, due to the higher difficulty of obtaining holy relics, many people's territorial holy relics are still basic holy relics with only 3 attributes, so the price is not much different. Lin Yu thought about it for a while, and then said aloud, the territorial relic is 4 million, the arms token is 1 million, and the one with the highest price will get it. He is not stupid, so naturally he can't directly call out a price. Instead, they chose to use the bidding method. As predicted. His voice just fell, and the lord immediately spoke out. 4.3 million, I want this territorial relic. Good guy, just increased the price by 300,000 directly. And the lord's voice was like a fuse, instantly detonating all the surrounding lords. I'll pay 1.1 million for arms tokens. I will pay 4.5 million for the relic of the territory. I'll pay 4.6 million. Token 1.2 million. 1.3 million. What surprised Lin Yu was. Compared with the sacred relics of the territory, it seems that the arms tokens are more popular, and the price has been soaring. It only took 2 minutes to soar to more than 1.5 million, much higher than the average market price. Looking at the sturdy men with blushing faces and thick necks, Lin Yu couldn't help snickering, as if he finally understood the reason for the popularity of this unit. After the prices of these 2 treasures soared all the way, they finally stopped at the integers of 5 million and 2 million. Obviously they have reached the limit of their psychological expectations. Anything higher is not worth it. 7.5 million, I want both of these things. Suddenly, a loud voice sounded in the crowd. A bald man with a timid girl walked out of the crowd. Lin Yu took a closer look. The bald man turned out to be an 8th Order lord, and he was accompanied by a 9th Order 6-winged great demon, who forced the crowds on both sides away and made way for him. Although the girl next to him looks a little cowardly, she is also an 8th Order Lord with 2 8th Order angels by her side. How about it? 7.5 million to buy these 2 treasures, no problem, right? The big man came to the booth and asked in a loud voice. Sure. Lin You smiled slightly. If you earn 500,000 more directly, a fool will refuse. Immediately, he took out 2 things and handed the big man a trading invitation. The transaction is successful, losing 1 by 1 sacred relic of the territory, 1 unit token, and gaining 7.5 million magic energy. As a prompt sounded, Lin You directly earned more than 7 million mana, plus the 2 million he already had. It soared to nearly 10 million. When the big man saw the 2 things he had in his hand, he also had a happy expression on his face, and said happily, "Thank you, brother, if there are such good things in the future, you can also contact me." "Okay, I will." Lin You nodded politely. He was also in a very good mood after getting so much magic energy at once. After a few small chats with him, the big man turned and left with his sister, causing the other lords to talk. "I recognize them, they seem to be brothers and sisters who are bounty hunters in the Monster Master plane recently. I also remembered when you said that. Is that the brother-sister group that specializes in hunting other realm lords, known as the Black and White Xuanxia? It shouldn't be wrong. Looking at their arms, they are also angels and demons, and they are all above the 8th rank. I heard that they killed a team with 4 tier 8 lords some time ago. Fuck. So fierce?" Exclamations sounded one after another, constantly entering Lin Yu's ears. He turned off the resource interface and couldn't help but be surprised. The strength of that pair of brothers and sisters just now, how could they be so powerful? No wonder he was able to take out so much magic energy without blinking an eye, so that he finally saw a rich man once. After setting up a booth for a while and selling the experience ball for 100,000 mana, he put away the things and teleported away directly. Swish. Light flashed. Lin You appeared in his own territory again. Because it took a little time to get familiar with the environment when shopping, so it was almost evening. Seeing that it was getting dark, he gave up his plan to go out, went directly under the world tree, and started to use the magic energy he just earned to mutate the troops. This time, he intends to make more symbiotic moss out. Although this will reduce the number of his arms, it will improve his overall strength. Especially the body of those proliferating arms. This trip to the secret realm directly lost more than 30, and it still has to be protected with symbiotic moss. Otherwise, no matter how large the quantity is, it will not be able to withstand consumption. Moreover, he now has godhead fragments, and the number of troops is more than other lords, so there is no need to worry about the number. After thinking about it, Lin You clicked on the recruitment interface, recruited a bunch of deceitful willows, and began to use mutations on them. Then in the entire territory, only the light that kept flashing was left, responding to Lin Yu's voice. And the sky, in the course of his constant mutation, gradually turned dark, completely darkened. This time it seems that luck is not so good. It was not until it took 8 million mana to finally mutate 15 symbiotic moss, and if there were already there, it was only 30. Lin You glanced at the remaining 1.6 million mana and temporarily gave up the plan to continue mutation. After a brief tidying up, I went to eat. Brothers, have you heard? There are new kings in Liuhua, Tianyan, and Juehua principalities. Huh? After so long, there is finally a new king? Same question, is this melon authentic? Which 9th levels ascended? It is said that they were all promoted by the most prestigious 9th rank lords in this duchy, and they were all selected by the emperor himself. It really should be like this, otherwise we can't stand it if we encounter the same thing as before. Messages from the lords kept flashing across the chat channel, and they seemed to be talking about the vacancy of the duchy king. And after such a long vacancy, the chaotic principalities finally ushered in a new king. It is estimated that the lords in the territory are relieved, right? However, what puzzled the lords was that, with the news of the new king, they had never heard that Emperor Xingyao wanted to choose a successor. Not even a single movement. Therefore, many people are speculating whether the emperor has already set a candidate, but it has not been announced. Or maybe you don't have this plan for the time being and want to wait for a while. Or just give birth to a cub and cultivate it from an early age? All in all, there are many opinions, and there are all kinds of opinions, which makes the entire chat channel more lively than usual. However, Lin You did not see the news. Because at this time, he had already finished eating and went back to the treehouse to rest. At dawn the next day, Lin You woke up. He looked at the private chat, but there was still no news that the king had woken up. Originally, he wanted to send a message to ask, but after thinking about it, it is better not to disturb at this time. The same was true for the angelic relic that was sold yesterday. At first, he planned to show Ji Yunshuang if he could exchange it for something else. But after thinking about it, the other party has a father who is a king, and even the rare arms are given away casually, so naturally, there will be no shortage of treasures of this level. Forget it, just wait. With a murmur, Lin You got up and left the tree house and came to the territory. I simply washed and ate something, and then checked the income and expenditure of Huangsha City yesterday. With the 9th order materials just obtained, he flew out of the forest and rushed to the direction of the dwarf tribe. Then, under the leadership of the dwarves, he walked through all the passages and turned around, and finally found McGun, who was opening a mine road deep in the mountains. In the distance, you can already hear the clanging sound of digging, as well as dwarfs coming and going to carry ore. McGan was directing from the side. It turns out that you are here, making me a good find. Lin You walked through the tunnel and came directly to the mine being excavated. Lin You? McGan, who was standing on the edge of the mine, turned his head and looked at him. Don't you think it's too hot here? Why do you suddenly have time to come to me today? Why do you think I came to you? Lin You asked rhetorically. Could it be, to deliver food? McGun's eyes lit up, and he stared at Lin You fiery. With that look of anticipation, he choked back on what Lin You gang wanted to say. Okay. In other words, he seems to have really come to deliver food. With an embarrassed cough, he said, I'm going to sell some high-level equipment elsewhere. I need your help, and you may need to help build a few 10th-level equipment in person later. It turned out to be for building equipment, that's easy to say. McGan grinned, his eyes narrowed into a line. Lin You also laughed, but it was a wry smile. Immediately afterwards, McGan's smiling face suddenly changed. 100,000 caddies of grain. 100,000? Why don't you grab it? Then 90,000. No. Up to 30,000. How can 30,000 be enough? My clansmen are all waiting for me to feed. Will you die if you eat ordinary food, meeting? Well, 70,000, it can't be any less. 50,000. I'll give you a maximum of 50,000, and the people in my city won't have anything to eat. 50,000? Do you know how long it takes to build a piece of tier 10 equipment? At least 60,000. Okay, if you are ruthless, 60,000 is 60,000. After some bargaining, the price was finally fixed at 60,000 caddies, and it was still those specially grown fortified grains. Even though Lin You knew that he had made money by using 60,000 caddies of grain to exchange rank 1 or even rank 10 equipment, he still felt distressed. After all, these grains were not brought by the strong wind, but were planted by the people he led. Except for the part that was handed over to the public warehouse of the territory, the rest was the labor income of the territorial people. As a lord, he naturally couldn't directly the source of other people's income. Otherwise, what do the people rely on to make money? Headache. When he goes back, he will have to ask Xue Changgue to buy food from the leaders, so that his food exports will be affected a lot. The only thing fortunate is that Huangsha City still has about 1 million liquidity, which should be enough to purchase food. Coupled with the grain storage in the public warehouse, it is still no problem to make up 60,000 caddies of grain. As for the export of grain, it is enough to suspend it first. Anyway, the ultimate purpose is to make money. Can you make money with Tier 1 equipment? Thinking of this, Lin You suddenly felt relieved. After chatting with McGunn about equipment building, he left the dwarf tribe and went back to the territory. And when he was passing through the forest, he also found Shuechanggue to talk about it. After a brief explanation, he hurried back to the territory on the Demon King Dragon. It was the sun rising at this time. When the sun shines through the forest and shines into Huangsha City, the residents in the city also begin to move. Go out to farm, build houses, build city walls, go hunting in the Gobi Desert outside the forest. Lin You rode the Demon King Dragon and roared over the forest, attracting countless people to stop and watch, but he was used to it for a long time, and he didn't panic like he did at the beginning. After returning to the territory, Lin You called the plants to his side. After some consideration, he let the newly mutated 15 mosses symbiotically grow on the ancient war tree. After all, the ancient war tree is the melee unit that rushes to the front, and the battle damage rate is the highest. First, ensure the survival rate of the front row before considering the rear output. Subsequently, he also spent hundreds of thousands of mana to fill the remaining gaps. That's why I took the A-level arms secret treasure I got yesterday and came to the arms base. Would you like to put the final strike treasure into the Piranha branch slot? Once it is put in, the corresponding troops will receive a treasure buff and can be replaced at any time. The replacement requires magic energy. Yes. With Lin Yu's response, the secret horse in his hand was covered with light, and slowly floated to the slot symbolizing the piranha. At the same time, the piranha flower troops in the territory also lit up with a white light, which was fleeting. At this point, Lin Yu's preparations for departure can be considered complete. Without any hesitation, he walked directly down to the base of the arms and came under the world tree, and slowly passed through the gate of the secret realm. Swish! The light flashed, and he appeared on the floating platform again. It was just morning, and not many lords had teleported over, so it looked a little sparse and deserted. Taking advantage of this time, Lin You directly teleported to the bottom of the lower city and hurried to the direction of the natural temple. Yes, it is the exclusive temple of the plant department. This is also what Lin You inquired about when he was on the road yesterday. It is said that a total of 10 temples have been established in the sanctuary of the secret realm, representing the territories of 10 types of arms. Only by communicating with the gods through the corresponding temple, the Lord can obtain the qualification to collect the source. This is also the reason why he did not get the source power by killing the leader-level monster yesterday. So soon. He walked across the street and came to a magnificent temple, surrounded by greenery. In front of the temple, there is a wide circular square. Many plant lords came earlier than him, and were surrounded by a towering ancient tree in the center, as if they were operating something. In the surrounding area, other plant lords continued to appear, heading straight for the big tree. But what surprised Lin You the most was the figure stationed in the temple. It was a slender elves. This was the first time Lin You had seen real elves, and he was immediately surprised by their beautiful appearance. Especially when I saw their long ears, I was even more surprised and couldn't help looking at them from a distance. It's a pity that the elves are praying in the temple now, and the guards are very strict, otherwise he has to get close to the past to take a look. Shaking his head helplessly, Lin You followed the other lords into the square and came to the big tree. Immediately afterwards, an unfamiliar interface suddenly appeared in front of him. Taking a closer look, it turns out that this is the same as the Blessing Temple in his territory, which can allow the lords to obtain corresponding gains. No wonder these lords ran over long ago. It is estimated that it is for this gain, so that I can go to the secret realm. And just when Lin You was studying how to get the qualification to collect the source, 2 lords suddenly came over. Okay, put your hand on this tree of origin, and you can unlock the origin of nature. The voice fell, and one of the young lords stretched out his palm expectantly and slowly placed it on the ancient tree in front of him. In an instant, the light flashed and the ancient tree swayed. A trace of fluorescent light fell from above, condensing into a bright green light group in front of the young lord. Is that the source of nature? Lin You was puzzled. It shouldn't be so easy to obtain the materials from the 7th rank to the 8th rank, right? After thinking about it, he also followed suit and reached out to touch the ancient tree. But at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The moment his palm touched the tree of origin, a dazzling light burst out suddenly, wrapping him and even the whole tree of origin. It even soared into the sky and went straight into the sky. The magnificent scene suddenly shocked the other lords beside him with wide-eyed eyes and looked over. Together with the elf sacrifices who were praying in the temple, they were also alerted and appeared outside the temple. What's the matter? What happened? This is a gift from the Mother Nature. The eldest elf was shocked and looked at the tree of origin and Lin You under the tree in disbelief. How can a mere human get the gift of the Mother Goddess? Even the high priest has only received gifts when he took office. What is going on here? Is there a new oracle coming down from the Mother Goddess? The elves exclaimed again and again. They couldn't believe it was true. But the fact in front of them made them have to believe, and they all stayed in place. Stop talking about them. Even Lin You, who was the party involved, was stunned at this time. What's the situation? Why are others just a little bit greener? He went green directly to the sky? Is he the legendary son of heaven? Pity. Don't wait for him to think about it. The sky-high light that enveloped him quickly dissipated, condensed into a strange rune on the back of his hand, and gradually disappeared. Then a group of light emitting a bright light appeared in front of him. Exactly the same as what he had just seen. That's it? Is this gone? According to the development of the plot, shouldn't you get some top-quality baby, or something like a sky-defying buff, and then go to the pinnacle of life? Lin You couldn't help but complain in his heart. I thought it would be a great opportunity, but it turned out to be just a loud fart, and it also attracted the attention of so many people. Thanks to his thick skin, he directly ignored the gazes of those next to him. Then with curiosity, he checked the information about the light group in front of him. Name, natural source, inactive. Level 7. Progress, 0%. Introduction, it is necessary to upgrade the territory. After collecting enough sources, it can be successfully activated and upgraded to the next level. Note, the source can be obtained by killing monsters above the boss level. Sure enough, it was the same as the news that was inquired before. The natural origin is obtained by killing boss-level monsters. However, what puzzled Lin You was that the word above was added behind his leader level. Could it be that there are higher-level monsters above the boss-level monsters? If this is the case, then he should pay more attention in the future, so as not to accidentally roll over. After collecting the natural source and studying it for a while under the tree of source, he finally obtained the benefit of the temple. Blessings of nature, the healing effect of all plant-type units is increased by 5%. The effect is not too strong, but it is better than nothing. Moreover, this is a buff exclusive to the plant department, and other departments should have similar buffs. Turning off the interface, he turned around and walked out of the temple under the amazed eyes of other lords. Please wait. Unexpectedly, at this moment, an anxious cry suddenly sounded in the distance. Lin You turned back subconsciously, and saw several elves rushing towards him. Is there a problem? He looked suspicious. Could it be the movement he made just now that alarmed these elves? Just as he was thinking, the leading elf old man walked quickly to him and handed him a strange leaf emitting a dim light. This is an invitation letter from our elf empire. If you are free in the future, please come to the Forest of Elf in our capital. The Forest of Spirits? Lin You was slightly surprised. It was a name he had heard McGann mention before. Yes, the Elf Forest is the capital of our elf empire and one of the 3 major empires in the sanctuary. The elf old man said very politely, and there was absolutely no rejection of human beings in the rumors. Lin You suddenly realized when he heard the words. It turns out that one of the 3 aboriginal empires is the Kingdom of Elves. However, he was still a little puzzled, and said, if there is a chance, I can go there, but can I ask why you invited me? It's because of the mark on the back of your hand. The elf old man pointed to the extra green mark on the back of Lin Yu's hand, his eyes fiery. This is the that our elves believe in. The mark that appears only when the mother goddess descends, the oracle. Only in our forest of elves can the specific content of the oracle be revealed. This must be the teaching of the mother goddess to convey to us. That's how it is. Lin You couldn't help but look at the complex mark on the back of his hand. He didn't expect this thing to be so big, so that the elves could be so polite to him. But then again, the oracle contained in this mark, shouldn't it be for the elves to hunt down him or something? Don't say it, it's really possible. After all, this mark appeared so inexplicably, and it still appeared on him as a human, so he had to be on guard. I thought so in my heart, but on the surface, I greeted him with a smile, nodded and said, "Okay, if I have a chance, I will go there. Then we are waiting for your arrival." The elf old man didn't say much to Lin You, he just said goodbye politely, and left with a few elves around him, as if he was eager to report back. This strange scene made other surrounding lords point and talk. Because it was the first time for them to see the arrogant elf being so polite to the human race, and even sending an invitation in person, it was simply out of line. But no matter what they talked about, Lin You didn't bother to pay attention. After confirming that there was nothing missing, he turned around and left, and hurried to the gate of the secret realm again. Along the way, the number of pedestrians on the street also began to increase. More and more lords and practitioners appeared in the city and began to rush around for the new day. Lin You even saw 2 natives of the Fox people pass by him, which made him gasp in amazement. Then unconsciously, in his mind, he made up a dog-blood bridge, such as a forbidden love that crossed races. Of course, the protagonist is not him, everything is just his imagination. And just when he was thinking about it, the floating platform quickly appeared in front of him. Without hesitation, he quickly came to the platform, and went directly through the gate of the secret realm amid the surrounding team invitations. Please select the level of difficulty. 7th order SSS level. Lin You thought for a while and replied. This difficulty was something he had already considered before he came here. Because after the clearing of the secret realm yesterday, he already knew that the difficulty of the secret realm was in the last leader level monster. For boss monsters on SSS difficulty, their attributes will be doubled directly. This may be a bit difficult for other tier 7 lords, but it is nothing to him. Because even after the doubling, the attributes of the leader monster are just on par with his royal arms. At that time, for against 1, will they still lose? What's more, he still has a 30-second burst of savage roar, which is enough to kill the leader level monster. Just as I was thinking, the prompt sounded again. The difficulty selection is successful, and the secret realm is being allocated. Dear Lord, since you are entering the secret realm for the 2nd time, you need to pay the entrance fee of 500,000 mana first. Do you want to continue? Note, entering the secret realm for the first time is free. After each entry, the admission fee will add 500,000 mana, which is not capped. Okay? Need an entry fee? Lin You was stunned, it was the first time he knew about this. And the entrance fee is still accumulated with the number of times he enters. That is to say, the more times you enter, the higher the cost, and in the end it will even reach the level of making ends meet, which is too pitiful. He said how could there be such a good thing in the world, allowing them to swipe magic energy and treasures infinitely. Now that I think about it, he is still too naive. It seems that in order to maintain the gate of this secret realm, the Empire also has to consume a lot of energy. With a wry smile, he directly spent 500,000 mana and chose continue. Next second, he was teleported to a wasteland where the sun was shining brightly. At the same time, several prompts sounded one after another. Congratulations to the Lord, the secret realm was successfully allocated. Current secret realm, Wild Beast Wasteland, 7th order SSS level, initial difficulty rating, 990. Attention, due to being infected by the chaotic breath, the attributes of all monsters are increased by 100%, please be careful. Good guy, he was directly assigned a secret realm with a difficulty of nearly 1,000. Does the system value him so much? I didn't give Lin You much time to think about it. As soon as he stood still, there was a sudden loud rumbling sound in the distance. A group of huge earth dragons roared towards him, splashing smoke and dust all over the wasteland. Name, Giant Rock Earth Dragon. Race, Beast. Level 7. Strength, 915 plus 915. Physique, 1000 plus 1000. Agility, 640 plus 640. Spirit, 780 plus 780. Skills, Rapid Attack, Rock Armor, Earthquake. Chaos, all attributes increased by 100%. Introduction, a subdragon beast known for its defense, its strength and defense are extremely tyrannical and its speed is slow. It really deserves to be the most difficult secret realm. It's only the first wave of monsters, and the attributes are so perverted that they even have full physical attributes. With the addition of Chaos Breath, up to 2,000 points. This has far exceeded the scope of the 7th Order, reaching the level of the ordinary 8th Order. It's no wonder that no 7th Order has cleared the SSS level secret realm alone. I am afraid that there must be several top 7th Order lords together, or a lord of 8th Order or above. How dare you think too much? Immediately summon the army of plants, headed by Qing Gang and the 15 ancient war trees with symbiotic moss, and suddenly meet the ferocious earth dragon group. Roar. Hearing the roar of Qing Gang, all the plants were covered with red light, and they directly pushed the earth dragons back. Then the Demon King Mushroom and other explosive mushrooms mounted the Demon King Dragon, and the Demon Concubine Dragon flew into the air, bombarding it with a carpet, and there was a large explosion of violent explosions. Those pea shooters were wrapped around a few double-headed blade lions, running around the earth dragon group, harassing them with a burst of bursts. There are countless vines on the ground to help limit the movements of those earth dragons. At the same time, a large piece of poisonous mist spread out, shrouding all the earth dragons, causing them to fall into chaos. Don't say it yet. After so many battles, Lin Yu's plants have become more and more handy. Especially in the face of such a flightless monster, there is no need to say more. In just one face-to-face effort, dozens of earth dragons fell under their attack. Roar. Suddenly, the earth dragon group let out a roar in unison, and a khaki light appeared on their bodies. Then Lin Yu was surprised to find that its plants couldn't break through their defenses. Even the vines of the ivy were barely able to defeat the khaki yellow light and inflict heavy damage on the earth dragon, but they couldn't achieve a one-hit kill. What a strong protective skill. Lin Yu couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise. This giant rock earth dragon really deserves to be a monster of the subdragon species. Even if its defense is strong, it still has such a strong defense skill. For a while, his plant offensive was completely blocked and gradually suppressed. Then the earth dragons pursued their victory and launched earthquake skills, causing the entire ground to vibrate violently, and even a large area of collapse occurred, burying dozens of proliferating troops at once, and the number is still increasing rapidly. Go back first. Turn attack into defense. Lin Yu made a decisive decision, and immediately let the plants retreat to his side, fully resisting the impact of the earth dragon group. The elf envoys in the rear kept waving their staffs, desperately treating the injuries of the frontline troops. And right now, the dandelion unit, which has not been paid much attention to by Lin Yu, finally came into play. Large swathes of dandelions flew over the front row troops into the earth dragon group, and were sucked into the body by the roaring earth dragon. Gradually, those dandelions took root and sprouted in the earth dragon's body, destroying the earth dragon's body from the inside, causing them to cry in pain one by one. The attack, which had been fierce before, suddenly stopped. Good chance. Get rid of them. Lin Yu's eyes brightened, and he immediately issued a counterattack order to the plants. In a blink of an eye, the situation changed, and the army of plants suddenly oppressed the earth dragons again. They threw their skills desperately like no money. By the time the remaining earth dragons reacted, they had already been disrupted and defeated one by one. In the end, in an unwilling roar, all fell under the siege of the plants, and the entire wasteland was instantly silent. Lin You took a brief look. In the whole battle, he lost a total of more than 70 proliferating arms, and there was no casualty in his body, which can be said to be a great victory. The magic energy received more than 500,000 yuan, which just offset the entrance fee of the secret realm. Not bad, at least not bad. Lin You nodded in satisfaction, and let the plants rest and recover. After a while, he continued to set off and headed deep into the wasteland. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Boom! A violent explosion sounded in a corner of the wasteland. Lin You looked in astonishment, looking at the rhinoceros monster that was blown up by the self-destruction skill of the undead flower in front of him. This was the second wave of monsters he encountered after entering the secret realm. I thought it would be another struggle. Unexpectedly, as soon as the group of rhinos rushed into the sea of dead flowers and stepped on an undead flower, they immediately triggered a series of violent explosions, killing dozens of rhinos at the forefront, the self-destruction skill that comes with A-level treasures. Terrible. Taking this opportunity, Lin You directly let the plants surround the chaotic rhino herd and launched a carpet bombing. As a result, in less than 5 minutes, all the rhinos were successfully annihilated, and hundreds of undead flowers were recreated. Good. Keep going. Looking at the mighty army of plants in front of him, Lin You waved his hand and headed towards the depths of the wasteland again. At the same time, in another secret space, a young man with a stern face was commanding a group of mechanical troops to exterminate a large group of poisonous scorpions in front of him. And the difficulty level of the secret realm he is in is the same as Lin You. It is SSS level. And very strangely, this person's mechanical arms are obviously different from those of other mechanical lords. For example, a turtle turret with wings, a mechanical hound with flame thrusters, and even a war mech equipped with a giant sword and shield. These things are things that these arms did not have in the past. But at this time, it is perfectly inlaid with these arms, forming these mechanical arms with completely different functions. Then, under the voice of the young man, he bombarded the scorpion group in front of him. In just a few minutes, he wiped out a large patch of 7th-order poisonous scorpions in front of him, leaving no one behind. Okay, close the team. Hearing the young man's cry, those mechanical arms stopped attacking one after another and quickly gathered around him. The young man pondered for a while, took out a strange toolbox from his personal space, and squatted next to one of the jet hounds. Then the toolbox was opened, and there were wrench tools and many mechanical parts flying out. Under the rapid operation of the young man, he began to remove the flame thruster on the mechanical hound and assemble it into a front flame jet device. The agility attribute of the mechanical hound also decreased, and the mental attribute was improved instead, and the attack ability was also strengthened. If Lin You were here at this time, he would definitely be extremely surprised, even shocked. Because this man is just like him. Has the ability to strengthen and transform troops. Moreover, it is also a mechanical modification ability that belongs to the mechanical arms. This person. No one else. It was the lord of the mechanical system who had just reached the top of the rating list recently, when Yan Ming. Probably because the end of the month is approaching, the list and the number of secret realms are about to be reset. These geniuses who have accumulated strength for more than half a month have finally started to do it. In addition to Wen Yanming, other lords also exerted their strength. In the last few days, they began to attack the difficult secret realm, making the entire rating list more lively than usual. Fuck. It's changed, and the list has changed again. Look. There is another guy in the top 10 who has cleared the SS level difficulty. Damn it. It's only for such a short time, and the top 100 was covered by S level difficulty? Another SS level one. So fierce. When Yanming in first place has been overtaken. Are these big guys crazy? Why are they all getting together to hit the list today? The lords were talking a lot, and they all gathered around the list stone tablet, looking at the constantly changing list above. Every time there is a change in the top 10, there will be a lot of exclamations. It's only been half a morning, and the names of the people on the list have changed batch after batch, and the top 10 are all assigned by the SS level difficulty score. In particular, the 3 lords in the top 3 have reached a score of over 890, which is only one step away from SSS. In the crowd, Manhwa stood with several of his teammates, also following the changes in the list, each with a shocked look on his face. These people are too strong. In the secret realm of SS level difficulty, the monster attribute has increased by 90%. That's not it, the 5 of us together have barely passed the B rank, it's really perverted. It's true that people are more popular than dead people. If I could also clear the SS level secret realm, I would have made a fortune long ago. Dream it, you're still SS rank, it's not bad to be able to pass an A rank. Haha, that is, how can we compare these big guys? Manhwa, are you right? One of the teammates patted Manhwa's shoulder and asked. Unexpectedly, Manhwa's eyes widened at this time, looking at the rating list in shock. Because just now, the list has changed again. 2 golden names suddenly appeared on the list with the attitude of being at the top of the list. First place, Lin You, Plant Department, SSS level 999. Second place, Wenyanming, Mechanical Department, SSS grade 990. Third place, Mu Wenyuan, Humanoid, SS level 898. Fourth place, Sun Daoting, Undead, SS level 895. SSS level difficulty. And there are 2. This was not what shocked Manhwa the most. What he couldn't believe the most was the name that appeared on the first. Lin You. Isn't that the name of the newcomer who was chatting with him yesterday? And it's all botanical. Is it the same person? Not to mention him, even the other lords on the side were shocked by the sudden change in the list, causing an uproar. Damn it. What's the situation? Why are there 2 SSS ratings? And they are all close to 1000 ratings. This is too fierce. I know Wenyanming, he seems to have the ability to improve mechanically, and his strength is very abnormal, but where did this Lin You come from? Can the score surpass Wenyanming's? SSS difficulty, the monster's attributes are directly doubled? And there is an 8th order leader monster behind it. Is this really something people can get past? The lords talked a lot, guessing Lin Yu's identity, or were shocked by the 2 SSS grades that suddenly appeared. It even attracted other lords around, setting off a wave of discussion. And this time, in the secret space, in front of a huge cave, Lin You looked at the corpse of a giant dragon not far away in shock. Wherever the eyes go, almost all the land is scorched, and the eyes are full of chaos. These were left behind when he had just fought the dragon. He never imagined that in this most difficult secret realm, the leader monster of a purebred dragon would appear. The attributes are almost completely full, and the skills are even more perverted to the extreme. More than half of his troops were damaged, and a large part of them were burned to death by the dragon flame of the leader monster. It can really be called a heavy loss. Fortunately, his several royal arms were strong enough, and he finally succeeded in killing the dragon, which made him finally relieved. Immediately afterwards, several prompts sounded. Congratulations! You successfully destroyed the 7th Order SSS level secret realm and obtained the 7th Order territory essence X1. The secret realm has been successfully cleared, and the difficulty is being assessed. Assessment completed, difficulty score, 999. Congratulations, you have successfully entered the secret realm personal rating list, 7th Order, current ranking, 1. It was exactly as he expected. The actual difficulty of the rift is higher than the initial assessment difficulty. A full 9 points higher. Only 1 point away from reaching the highest value of 1000. Even directly topped him to the first position on the personal rating list. However, Lin You didn't care about this kind of fancy list without rewards. What he cares about is the reward after clearing the secret realm. After all, he worked so hard and lost so many units. He should give something good to make up for the loss, right? Just thinking about it, the corpse of the giant dragon in the distance quickly dissipated, and gradually condensed into 4 things with golden light outside the entrance of the cave. That's right. That's 4. There are 2 more than when he cleared A level before. Lin You was very pleasantly surprised. You must know that the probability of treasures appearing after clearing the secret realm is extremely low. According to those lords, it seems that it may not appear once every 10 times. By Name, as a result, he found the treasure twice in a row. And this time it's SSS level. Who dared to hesitate, immediately left the team and came to those things. There are 2 familiar things in the eyes, a secret experience ball that guarantees the bottom, and a light group that looks very similar to the source of nature. Needless to say, the experience ball will increase 100 experience points for the 7th tier troops. As long as you clear the secret realm, it will drop. And that light group, when Lin You approached, suddenly turned into a streamer and merged into his body. He quickly opened his personal space and took a look. It was found that the progress on the natural source had indeed changed from 0% to 0.1%. That is to say, if he wants to successfully activate the natural source, he has to kill at least 1,000 or more tier 8 monsters. This is not a small amount. I don't know if killing the 7th order or 9th order leader monster will get the same progress. According to the urine of this system, I am afraid not. The 7th order leader monster must be reduced to at least 0.01%. After thinking about it, Lin You put away his thoughts and continued to look at 2 other things: a token, a red crystal wrapped in a flame. Army token. Lin You was shocked. His eyes were instantly attracted by the token, and he picked it up directly. Army token, Bronze Dragon, Beast Type. Army level, 7th rank. Introduction: after use, you can unlock the Beast Type Flying Unit Bronze Dragon. Use requirements: 7th order territory, 25,000 magic energy. It was actually the same type of unit as the leader monster he killed. Lin You was very excited. Although the dragon flying arms are not rare arms, they are also extremely precious among all ordinary arms. Its value is definitely not inferior to the succubus units he sold before, or even more. After all, everyone has a dream to become a dragon knight. Especially the lords of the beast system will never miss the opportunity to get this powerful unit. Zizizi put away the token, and then Lin You looked at the last crystal and couldn't help swallowing. He didn't expect that he would produce 2 treasures in a row. I don't know if it's because of the higher difficulty of his challenge. Thinking that this is likely to be an SSS level treasure, he couldn't help but breathe quickly, then stretched out his hand tremblingly and slowly picked up the crystal. Army treasure, Destruction Dragon Flame. Treasure type, Special. Treasure level, SSS level. Treasure effect: make the attack of the troops with dragon flames, ignore 40% of the enemy's defense, and have a continuous burning effect, while reducing all attributes of the attacked enemy by 4%, fire-type troops can be used. Introduction: the secret treasure used to strengthen the arms can be used in the base of the arms, and only a single type of arms can be strengthened. So strong. Looking at the attributes of destroying Longyan, Lin You was shocked. Not to mention the defense, it also has the effect of dragon flame burning. It even reduces the attributes of the attacked enemy. As expected, it is the secret treasure of SSS level arms, and it is not comparable to A level at all. The only regret: it is this secret treasure that can only be used by fire-type units. When it comes to fire-type arms, the plant system is estimated to be the least of all the classes. Lin You has mutated so many types of units, and now there is only one flame shooter, and it is a single attack. It is enough to see how bad the compatibility between the plant system and the flame is. This kind of secret treasure that enhances the fire element is similar to the element or demon. So he now has 3 options. One is to give it directly to the flame shooter and use it as a mortar with full penetration. The second is to exchange with other lords with fire-type units, and replace them with another SSS-level secret treasure that is more compatible with the plant type. This is the third. It is based on the flame skills of the flame shooter, and mutates until a suitable fire plant is created, but it consumes a lot of magic energy. Of course, there is also a fourth point, which is directly sold and exchanged for magic energy or other resources. But this choice was directly ruled out by Lin You. He is not stupid. Something extremely precious like SSS-level secret treasures will definitely not be easily exchanged for resources. So after thinking about it again and again, he decided to try the third one first. God-making plan. To be precise, it should be a plan to build a royal family. He will use the skills of the flame shooter to create a royal family of fire troops. If it were the past, he would not dare to think about such a thing. But now it's different. His mutation ability can be forced to retain skills. As long as he always retains fire skills, it is not impossible to create a plant with fire ability. The more you think about it, the more feasible it becomes. Anyway, he just cleared the secret realm and obtained 2 million magic energy, plus the remaining 1 million after deducting the ticket fee, adding up to 1,200 mutations. But to be on the safe side, he still took the bronze dragon token. He just got to the most lively place on the platform and started to set up a stall. As for the experience ball, he will keep it for now, maybe he can use it later. Come here, I took a look. The newly released 7th Order Dragon Arms of the Beast system are sold at a low price. After setting up the booth, Lin You followed suit and shouted loudly along with the other lords. Not to mention, as soon as his voice came out, the attention of many beast lords was immediately attracted. Where? I just heard someone selling dragons? Really or not? Giant dragons? Shouldn't it be shoddy with the kind of ground dragon that can't fly? It seems to be over there. Let's go, and have a look. The flying arms of the dragon class are still very attractive to the lords. In less than half a minute, more than a dozen beast lords gathered around, curiously checking the troop tokens on Lin Yu's booth. When they saw the introduction information above, they all stared at each other. It's really a giant dragon. And it's the kind that can fly. Bronze dragon? I've seen this unit, and its attributes are ranked in the forefront of all beast units. I've seen it too. In addition to flying, it seems to have dragon flame skills. Fuck. Lan Yan? So awesome? Brother, how are you going to sell this token? Same question. I'm short of amount like this, so tell me how much it costs. Gradually, more and more lords gathered from all directions. Most of them were lords of the beast department, but there were also a small number of lords from other departments who came to watch the show, crowding Lin Yu's booth. It seemed that he was about to become uncontrollable. Lin You immediately said aloud, I don't exchange this token for anything else, I just exchange it for magic energy, and the one with the higher price will get it. Only magic? The lords were stunned, and some couldn't believe it. When other people have such good things, they are usually exchanged for treasures of the same value, or they are only converted into some magical energy, plus other less valuable treasures. But Lin You only wanted magic energy, which immediately made them excited one by one. They may not have the treasures, but they can still collect the magic energy. Immediately, someone shouted a price. 1.5 million. I want this token. I want to buy this unit for 1.5 million. I will pay 1.6 million. What about sending beggars? I'll pay 1.7 million. I will pay 1.8 million. Everyone, give me a face and give me the token. Bah. Who are you? Why should I give you face? 1.9 million. That's right, don't pee and take pictures of yourself, 2 million. In just a moment, the price was raised to the level of 2 million. You must know that yesterday's succubus arm was only raised to this price because of a sudden big money. But this dragon token is still unabated, soaring all the way. 2.5 million, 2.6 million. 2.65 million, 2.7 million. Finally, when the shouting reached 3 million, the rate of increase gradually slowed down. The frequency of price increases has also changed from the original 100,000 to 50,000. Lin You knew that this should have almost reached their limit. 3.5 million. As predicted, When one of the lords shouted a high price of 3.5 million, the whole price increase scene finally settled. All the lords looked at each other and hesitated. But there is no confidence to continue to bid. After all, 3.5 million mana is a lot of money for a 7th order lord, and many people can't even spend it. Even if you can take it out, it will hurt your muscles and bones, and the gains will outweigh the losses. Not to mention the lords above the 8th rank. They can rise to the 8th rank, and naturally, they will not lack this flying arm. It is not worthwhile to spend so much money for the type of arm. Anyone else want to increase the price? Lin You looked around and paused for a while. For him, the price of 3.5 million has exceeded expectations by a lot, so he is naturally very satisfied. After waiting for a while, no one responded, and he made an announcement directly. Okay. The transaction price is 3.5 million, and the token belongs to this brother. Very good. In the crowd, a young lord was very excited and hurriedly came to the booth to trade with Lin You. The others shook their heads helplessly and dispersed, leaving only a few guys who wanted to use their brains, staring at the young lord and Lin You. However, Lin You naturally wouldn't give them a chance. After the transaction was completed, he immediately put away the booth and teleported away from the platform. The young lord also knew the truth of not revealing his wealth, so he immediately put away the token and immediately sent it back to his territory. Let those people's ideas all fail. Swish. The light flashed. Lin You has already appeared in his own territory. With a total of 6.5 million mana, he hurriedly came under the world tree, recruited one of the flaming shooters to his side, and started his military plan. The mutation of the 7th order troops needs to consume 2,500 mana. Do you want to continue? Continue. Please choose to keep skills and attributes. Retain the flame transformation. The attributes are random. The flame transformation skill is the root of the flame shooter's fire attack. Since we want to create fire-type units, we naturally keep this skill. As his voice fell, the flame shooter was immediately enveloped in light and began to change rapidly. Not for a while. It turned into a red morning glory spitting out tons of fire. Lin You remembered that this was the echo flower that he had mutated once before. Unexpectedly, after inheriting the flame transformation skill, the appearance will also change, and the flame characteristics appear. But unfortunately, this is not the type of troops he wants, and he can only continue to mutate. The mutation of the 7th order troops needs to consume 2,500 mana. Do you want to continue? Continue. Please choose to keep skills and attributes. Retain the flame transformation. The attributes are random. Swish. The light flashed, an echo flower turned into a wither banshee. The flowers on the top of the head also turned fiery red, emitting wisps of flames. There are holes in the vines, and hot air is continuously discharged, and it feels like it will breathe fire at any time. It seems that forcing the retention of fire-based skills will make the mutated troops with flame characteristics, which is very strange. Immediately afterwards, Lin You mutated the wither banshee again, and the skill still retains the flame transformation. After mutating more than 200 times in this way, a brand new plant that he had never seen before finally appeared in front of him, a red lotus flower with a transparent body and a flame all over it. Name, Yen Prison Fire Lotus. Race, Plant. Level 7, 0/2500. Strength, 510. Physique, 520. Agility, 530. Spirit, 540. Skill, Flame Transformation absorbs the breath of flame, makes the attack with fire attribute damage, and burns the enemy red lotus fire. The fire of the red lotus is ignited within 25 meters of the whole body, turns into a sea of fire, and continues to burn enemy. Flame Linkage, each fire lotus in hell within the range of the sea of flames increases the power of the flames by 2%. Rebirth from ashes, as long as there is a flame, the fire lotus in hell can continue to regenerate until the flame is extinguished. Introduction, a very rare plant, born in flames, Has a strong ability to control flames, and can be continuously regenerated through flames. Where the fire lotus grows, it is a sea of fire. Pure fire-type plant arms? This was the first time that Lin You had mutated fire-type troops other than the flame shooter, which made him a little surprised. It's a pity that this indiscriminate group attack flame skill is not in line with his plants. If one is not well controlled, even his own units may be burned. And the attributes of this unit are pitifully low, only half of the full attributes. If you want to truly exert power, you have to rely on the number of second skill stacks to increase the power of flames. He can't give up other arms for this type of arm, right? Either way, it's a bit of a loss. However, the skills of this unit are very good. When it may be useful in the future, you can use the Tower of Arms to study this unit. Think about it. Lin You continued to mutate Yin You Fire Lotus. Finally, when the mutation occurred nearly 500 times, a prompt came. Congratulations! The skill Flame Transformation has mutated and changed to Infernal Affairs. Furious, mutation absorbs excess flame breath, and is attacked by fire. When using fire attack, the attack increases by 50%, and at the same time, 50% damage is attacked. What the hell? Will there be negative attributes in the skill mutation? Seeing the new skills after the mutation, Lin You felt bad all over. I thought it was a powerful skill. Unexpectedly, it was backlashed by flames. Isn't this pitting yourself? But when he saw the 50% increase in fire damage, he couldn't help but be moved. After all, damage-increasing skills with such a high value are rare, and it can even be said that it is difficult to come across. Although he will attack himself when attacking, his plants have healing skills, and the physique of plant troops is generally higher than that of other troops. Coupled with the symbiotic moss that replicates the high physical attributes, it can completely offset some of the side effects and minimize the loss. Done. Lin You was heartbroken, and finally made up his mind to continue the mutation. The mutation of the 7th Order troops needs to consume 2,500 mana. Do you want to continue? Continue. Please choose to keep skills and attributes. Reserved to be obsessed with magic, the attributes are random. That's all. As the rays of light came on again and again, the number of Lin Yu's mutations gradually accumulated. And his magic power is also rapidly decreasing. In less than an hour and a half, it dropped below 3 million. That is, it has mutated more than 1,400 times. There is no way, there are too many types of 7th Order arms, and the probability of appearing a royal family is much lower. However, Lin You was not in a hurry. Because he can already feel that the new royal family is not far from him. As predicted. Just when he spent 5 million mana and mutated nearly 2,000 times, a completely different dazzling golden light suddenly enveloped the plants in front of him. Success! Lin You was shocked, and the whole person became excited. Then, under his unblinking gaze, the plant wrapped in golden light began to change rapidly, turning into a fiery red pea that was twice the size of an ordinary flame shooter. Even the pea leaves on the rhizomes were dyed red, causing the temperature in the whole surrounding to rise suddenly. Lin You couldn't wait, and clicked on its properties to view it. Name, Flame Archer, Royal Family. Race, Plant. Level 7, 0/2500. Strength, 970. Physical, 700. Agility, 500. Spirit, 1000. Skills, Enchanted by Fire, Pea Shooting, 100 steps piercing yang, the range of peas is doubled, the rate of fire is doubled, and the attack has a knockback effect. Deadly Sniper, concentrate all the flame energy in one place, and perform a powerful long-range blow on the enemy, causing an additional 100% fire damage. Introduction, a mutated pea with extremely terrifying long-range strike ability. The level reaches a certain level, thousands of miles away, take the enemy's head. It turned out to be a royal family of peas. Lin You was so excited, the fatigue caused by the long-term mutation was instantly swept away. This is the first time he has encountered a unit with full attributes just after awakening the royal bloodline, It's not even a hero transformation. It is hard to imagine how powerful its skills are. Especially when Lin You saw the skills of this royal family, he couldn't help being shocked. Deadly sniping with an additional 100% fire damage. Coupled with the addition of being obsessed, that is a full 2.5 times the damage. This is not counting the 40% defense penetration of SSS level treasures. Is this plant a sniper? Lin You didn't think much about it, and immediately let a moss with the highest physique symbiotically grow on the royal flame shooter. Then he asked it to wrap his arm, put it on his shoulders, and aim directly at a huge rock 200 meters away. Come on, try lethal sniping. The voice fell, and the flame shooter immediately opened his mouth. In an instant, the aura of flames quickly gathered, forming a dazzling pea bullet in its mouth. That flame breath is so strong that it even reaches the point where it can be seen by the naked eye. Let the air in the entire territory become hot and dry. Boom! With a loud bang, the bullet shot out suddenly, and the whole air shook violently. The bullet turned into a sonic boom in the forest and shot straight towards the boulder, as if the space was about to be torn apart. Even Lin You, who had reached the 7th rank, was blown away by the powerful recoil and slammed into the trunk of the world tree. Next second, the bullet penetrated the boulder, making a loud explosion. The terrifying impact was actually smashing the entire boulder into powder in an instant. Even the castration remained unabated, smashing a large trunk of trees in front of him, causing a series of tree collapses in a loud bang, stretching out for hundreds of meters. So strong. Lin Yu's face was full of shock, watching all this in disbelief. I almost thought I was wrong. If we assume the Mushroom Demon King is the king of blasting in group battles, then the flame shooter of this royal family is definitely the king of single units, and no other arms of the same rank can match it. What's the matter? What happened? It seems to be the Lord's territory. There is an explosion. Could it be an enemy attack? Quick! Come and have a look. There were exclamations in the forest, all panicked by the sudden movement. Even the 9th Order cultivator Yudaonan, who was cultivating in the forest cabin, was alerted and flew directly towards Lin Yu's territory. However, when they rushed to the vicinity of the territory and saw the terrifying scene that stretched out for hundreds of meters, they were all shaken in place. This? Yudaonan opened his mouth, and his eyes were filled with horror. Such an exaggerated destructive power is almost on the verge of catching up with the 9th Order. If he is hit head-on, even he can't guarantee that he will be able to escape. Could it be that there was just a 9th Order fighting here? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look into the territory, and found that Lin You was also standing there dumbfounded at this time, with a look of astonishment. Can you surprise him? He had thought that the power of this deadly sniper would be very perverted, but he didn't expect it to be so perverted. The power of one blow, destroying the forest within a range of hundreds of meters, is only the aftermath. I wonder which tier 7 arms can do it. Even the aftermath has such power, one can imagine how strong and terrifying the penetration at the center point is. I am afraid that the 8th Order monsters can be instantly dropped. Looking at the flame shooter himself, he was also attacked by the flames, and the entire body was burned red, which seemed to consume a lot. Fortunately, the 1,000 points of physique increased by the symbiotic moss, and the treatment of the elves, it is not a big problem, it should take a long time to recover, and then continue to fire. Seeing that there were more and more people outside the territory, he immediately shouted loudly. I made this movement, not an enemy attack, go back. As soon as these words came out, everyone was even more shocked. But they didn't dare to ask any more questions, and after taking another look at the thrilling picture in the distance, they turned around and left. Even Yudaonan, who was a 9th-rank powerhouse, was a little more afraid of Lin You in his heart. He didn't say much, and disappeared in place in a flash. Wait until everyone leaves. Only then did Lin You remove the flame shooter's equipment state and couldn't help but let out a wry smile. Fortunately, he just chose to shoot in a direction where no one was there, otherwise many people would be killed today. It looks like I'll have to be a little more careful in the future. and the destroyed forest is not a problem. As long as there is the core of his territory and the sacred relics of the territory, it will not take long for it to grow back. If you have time, you can also ask the fairy to spawn. Thinking of this, he looked at the flame shooter beside him and lowered his head to think. In the future, I'll call you Cannon. After that, he brought the cannon to the hero transformation pool and began to transform it. 70,000 mana needs to be consumed to transform heroes of the 7th tier arms. Do you want to continue? Continue. The sound fell, and the cannon was enveloped in light, becoming more powerful and domineering. And its properties have also undergone tremendous changes. Name, Flame Shooter Cannon, Royal Family. Race, Plant, Hero. Level 7, 0/2500. Strength, 1000, plus 1000. Physique, 730, plus 1000. Agility, 530, plus 780. Spirit, 1000, plus 780. Skills, Insane, Pea Shooting, 100 Steps to Pierce Yang, Deadly Sniper. Precision Strike, it can precisely target any enemy within the range and strike its weak point. Introduction, a mutated pea with extremely terrifying long-range strike ability. When the level reaches a certain level, it can take the head of the enemy thousands of miles away. Good skill. After reading the attributes, Lin You couldn't help but sigh in admiration. Precisely targeting the enemy's weak points is a perfect match for deadly sniping. As long as you enter the range, the enemy has nothing to hide. Unless the response is quick, or there is a means of life-saving, it is absolutely impossible to escape the life-threatening blow of the cannon. This time, he finally has a long-range super firepower. The deterrent power to other lords is not ordinary. Lin You is really very fortunate. He just didn't give up his mutation skills and continued to mutate, and he finally mutated into such a powerful unit. The 7th Order is already like this, but after the 8th Order? And this arm is also his 6th royal arm, and it does not repeat with other royal families. Obviously. The royal troops whose mutation ability mutated should all be unique. After all, there can only be one king. Once a royal family appears in this type of arms, it may not be able to mutate into a second royal family. If it is really the same as what he guessed, then his 7th or even 8th royal family in the future may be other types of arms that have not yet appeared in the royal family. It is reasonable to think so. But he only has 1.5 million mana left now, so even if he wants to test it, he can't do it. We can only wait for more mana in the future, and then carry out the next king building plan according to the attributes of the weapons and treasures at hand. By the way, there are also military treasures. At this time, Lin You suddenly realized that he hadn't put the military secret treasure on it. Without hesitation, he brought the SSS-level Destruction Dragon Flame secret treasure to the base of the troops, looked around, and quickly found the pea shooter stone platform. Would you like to put the secret treasure into the pea shooter branch slot? Once it is put in, the corresponding troops will receive a treasure buff and can be replaced at any time. The replacement requires magic energy. Fortunately, because of the relationship with the flame shooter, this unit has also been labeled as a flame type and can use secret treasures. Lin You answered yes directly. Then the secret treasure in his hand flew up and slowly landed on the stone platform, causing all the flaming shooters in the territory to have a ray of light, and it was fleeting. SSS grade treasure. Binding succeeded. By the time the new troops were mutated, it was already halfway through noon. While there was still half a day left, Lin You spent hundreds of thousands of mana to fill the gaps in the lost units, and then went to the SSS level secret realm twice. Entering the secret realm twice, the entrance fee has risen directly to 1.5 million mana. Unfortunately, this time, his luck has obviously been used up, and he has only released a guaranteed experience orb and 0.1% of his original progress after clearing the secret realm twice in a row. Not even a troop token. Just got home. However, after 2 trips to the secret realm, after deducting the entrance fee and the loss of troops, I still earned 1.5 million mana, which is not a loss. forget it, let's go back and buy some food first. Glancing at the gradually setting sun, Lin Yu gave up his plan to continue to clear the secret realm. Directly teleport back to the territory, and let Shuechangue start to purchase food from other surrounding cities. Lord, regarding the food, I already arranged for someone to prepare it yesterday. Shuechangue stood beside Lin Yu and said respectfully. Oh, already done? Lin Yu was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Shuechangue to move so fast. Yes, it's basically done, and the granary has been expanded several times, just waiting for the purchased grain to arrive. Well done. Lin Yu nodded in satisfaction. He still trusts Shuechangue's ability to handle affairs. This kind of thing doesn't need him to say more, he has already prepared it early and shared a lot of worries for him. After pondering for a while, he said again, where is the cultivator, how is the situation recently? There are more people, is there any trouble? In the past 2 days, there have been several cases of cultivators fighting in the city, but with Elder Yu, they have been resolved. It's good if it's resolved. Go ahead and report to me if you have anything. The Lord, I will retire first. Shuechangue saluted respectfully and turned to leave. Lin Yu also continued to work in the territory. The next morning, Lin Yu left the territory early. First, go to the dwarf tribe to find McGun to get the finished 9th Order equipment, and then pass through the gate of the secret realm and teleport into the sanctuary. To his surprise, today's uncharted sanctuary, the atmosphere seems to be much more severe than usual. It was only early in the morning, and a large number of lords and practitioners had already gathered on the streets. Even though sect colleges have led their teams to appear, and gathered towards the largest floating platform in the center, with a posture of waiting. Is a monster riot coming? Lin Yu was shocked. As if in response to his words, several lords who were talking anxiously walked past him. I heard that last night, the chaotic atmosphere on the main plain suddenly became stronger. So soon? Could it be that the monster riot is coming again? It shouldn't be wrong, many forces have now rushed over. Then let's hurry over there. I heard that when monsters riot, there will be a lot of leader monsters. It's a good time to make money. The few people who were talking were all lords who had reached the 8th rank. Naturally very confident in his own strength. As long as they don't encounter 10th Order monsters, there is still not much danger to them. What's more, there are so many people gathered on the floating platform, just need to be careful. But level 7 is different. If you are not careful, you may be killed by monsters of the 8th and 9th Order. Therefore, it is rare to see a 7th Order lord coming to join in the fun. Even after many received the news, they hurriedly sent them back to their own territory and did not go to this muddy water. Interesting. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. Seeing that figures were constantly gathering towards the giant floating platform from all directions, he also hurriedly rode the Demon King Dragon off the platform and flew towards the lower city. Soon, he came to the front of Shifeng Pavilion and landed on the open space in front of the store. The whistling wind made Lu Zhenxing, who was keeping accounts, hurried out of the store. It turned out to be young Master Lin. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Lu Zhenxing glanced at the Demon King Dragon under Lin Yu in surprise, and then greeted him with a smile. According to the agreement, I will send the built equipment to you. Lin Yu rolled over and jumped off the back of the Demon King Dragon, and then recalled it to the territory. It's done so soon? Lu Zhenxing's eyes lit up. For an average craftsman, it takes at least 3 days to create a piece of 9th Order equipment. It has only been 2 days since Lin Yu took the materials from him. It made him believe a little more about the fact that there are dwarves in Lin Yu. Subsequently, the two walked through the store and entered the inner hall under the surprised eyes of several guests, and began to talk about equipment. As soon as he sat down, Lin Yu took out a slender long sword like a light feather from his personal space and handed it to Lu Zhenxing. Equipment name, Dance of Feather and Feather. Equipment level, level 9. Characteristic 1, the blade is light, blessed by the wind attribute, and the speed of swinging the sword is increased by 20%. Feature 2, attacks add 20% wind damage. Extra, unenchanted. Introduction, made of 9th order bird feathers and tail feathers, the sword is light and can easily tear the air. Good equipment. Lu Zhenxing took over the equipment and couldn't help but let out an exclamation. As a cultivator, he has successfully communicated with gods, so he can naturally see the information of this weapon. When he saw that it actually had one more ability than other weapons, he was even more shocked, and even a little excited. If this weapon is sold for sale, it will definitely be scrambled by those lords and practitioners. If the number is large enough, it is not impossible to pull a group of customers from Wanbeilu. Moreover, the forging skills of this weapon are superb, which he has seen in his life. Human race blacksmiths simply cannot reach this level, only the dwarves known as forging can do it. That is to say, Lin You really has a dwarf craftsman working under him. Thinking that Lin You had mentioned before that his dwarves could help build 10th order equipment, Lu Zhenxing couldn't help but tremble in his heart. He didn't dare to think too much, and immediately said, "This is indeed from the hands of the dwarves. If young Master Lin doesn't mind, let's start talking about cooperation now." Of course. Lin You smiled slightly. Immediately afterwards, the two discussed in the living room. It took more than half an hour to finally reach an agreement. The materials and sales are provided by Shifeng, and Lin You provides the construction. The profit will be divided into 50% and 50%. Lin You was still very satisfied with this result. After all he needs is manpower. However, Shifeng Pavilion requires the cost of materials, as well as various manpower and connections. Certainly. Tier 10 equipment is different. This kind of thing that is extremely scarce, and the technology is in his own hands, Lin You must have the most of it, and Shifeng Pavilion is also in urgent need of a 10th order equipment shock field, which overwhelms Wanbeilu, so there are not too many requirements. It's just that while providing materials, 20% of the profit is required to cover expenses. That's all. The cooperation between Lin You and Shifeng was successfully achieved. Holding the 10th order materials just obtained from Lu Zhenxing, Lin You quickly left the shop and hurried to the floating islands. It was already halfway through the morning. On the streets near the entire floating archipelago, they have begun to be fully armed, and there are many powerhouses above the 8th and 9th orders, and even the number of people who set up stalls is less than half. Anyone with a discerning eye can feel the difference in the atmosphere. And just when Lin You was halfway there, above the distant sky, there was suddenly a loud bang. The entire sky, including the floating islands, vibrated violently. What's the matter? Is there an earthquake? It seems to be on the center island. The monster riot has begun. Did it start so soon? It's not even noon yet. Quick, let's get out of here, don't be implicated. Wait for me. The people on the street screamed and fled in all directions. Some strong ones rushed to the floating island one after another. Lin You rode directly on the Demon King Dragon and followed behind them, and he came to the sky over the island after a while. As expected, the crack connecting to the main plane of the monster has collapsed and shattered into a void. Accompanied by bursts of shocking roars, countless monsters rushed out from inside. The lords and cultivators who had been guarding outside for a long time issued orders one after another and went up to them directly. Kill! In an instant, the shouting and killing sounded together, spreading from the platform to the sky. Lin You even saw a few giant bull-headed monsters with imposing manners far exceeding the 8th rank appear in the crack, knocking out a large number of troops in front of him. Leading monster. Not far from Lin You, a lord also rode a flying unit and exclaimed. At the same time, as Lin You approached, the attributes of the bull-headed monster also came into his eyes. Name, Scarlet Bull Demon, Leader. Race, Beast. Level 9, Grade B. Strength, 4,500 plus 2,700. Physique, 4,300 plus 2,580. Agility, 3,800 plus 2,280. Spirit, 3,800 plus 2,280. Skills, Slash, Scarlet Roar, Fierce Rush. Chaos, all attributes increased by 60%. Introduction. The monster with the head of a bull and the body of a beast is known for its powerful strength, and its comprehensive strength far exceeds that of ordinary bull demons. Class B? Lin You was stunned. The monsters in the main plane are actually the same as those in the secret realm, and they are classified according to the degree of infection of the chaotic breath. It's just a B rank, and the strength and physique have reached a terrifying 7,000 points. Just outrageous. Fortunately, he had the foresight not to get too close. With such a perverted attribute, even Qingting in its heyday is hard to match. Even if the cannon was fully opened, it was barely even, and it was impossible to kill it. The ninth order monster is really terrifying. How dare you think too much? Immediately let the Demon King Dragon away from the central platform, fly to other nearby platforms, and watch the melee between the high-level lords and the practitioners from a distance. At this time, the entire central island has been completely chaotic. There are constantly monsters rushing out of the cracks, rushing in all directions, trying to break through the defense lines of the lords to harm the city below. And the people in those urban areas are also hiding, escaping, and even the shops on the street are closed one after another, daring not to show their faces. However, Lin You did not leave immediately. Although he can't deal with the ninth order leader monster, but the eighth order can always be? And isn't this small island floating around a natural sniper place? Kill. Block these monsters. Never let them rush in. Roar. The screams of killing, accompanied by roars, constantly echoed over the entire floating archipelago. More and more monsters emerged from the cracks, madly attacking the lines of defense of the lords. Wherever his eyes go, whether in the sky or on the ground, there are all figures in fierce battles. And somewhere on the platform, several eighth order lords gathered together and commanded the units to continuously resist the impact of a large group of eighth order monsters. Even in the monster group, there were many huge eighth order leader monsters. No, this leader monster is too fierce. I can't stand it anymore. Hold on. My explosive skills are getting better soon. Hold up, don't let them break through the defense. There are more and more boss monsters. The few lords screamed in surprise, and gradually collapsed under the fierce offensive of the monsters. Seeing that more and more arms fell, made them even more anxious, and the intention to retreat gradually sprouted in their hearts. Boom! Suddenly, a loud noise came. The hearts of the lords jumped, and they heard a terrifying burst of air attacking them. Before they had time to react, a pea emitting a fierce flame had already passed by them, heading straight for a rank 8 leader-level giant python that was going mad in the distance. Puff! The blood flower exploded. A huge hole appeared on the position of the python's 7-inch weakness, stopping the python's movements instantly. One-hit kill. Hearing a loud bang, the huge body of the 8th order python fell to the ground with a bang, and the wound was even more flaming with flames. Those 8th order lords gasped in shock and couldn't help but take a half step back. With just one blow, he killed an 8th order leader in seconds. Although they can also kill them, they absolutely can't do it so easily, and there is endless astonishment in their hearts. Because if the attack just now was aimed at them, they would definitely die. Where is it sacred, and it has such strength? Could it be that the 9th order lord failed? Unfortunately. The army of monsters in front of them did not give them a chance to look around, and roared again, rushing towards them frantically, forcing them to concentrate on dealing with them. The other side. On the platform, hundreds of meters away from the central island, Lin You was surprised and looked at the corpse of the giant python that fell to the ground. He didn't expect that the power of the cannon after destroying the dragon flames was so terrifying that even the scales of the 8th order B-level leader monsters could penetrate and drop them in seconds. To know. Despite the Moss bonus, the base psychic attribute of the cannon is only 1,780 points. As a result, with the overlapping of skills one by one, it can reach such an exaggerated level, it is simply a long-range killer. And under the blessing of the halo, its physical attributes are also improved along with it, which easily offsets the backlash damage caused by the madness. Then after waiting for about 30 seconds, it has basically recovered. Recovers faster than Green Gang's savage roar. Taking advantage of this recovery time, Lin You kept running between the floating islands, killing the 8th Order leader monsters on the main island one by one. Every time you kill one, you will get 0.1% of the original progress. As for the magic energy, even if it is still so stubborn. Don't say it. Using this method, he killed 48 boss monsters in only half an hour. The collection progress of the natural source directly increased to 5.2%. At this rate, I am afraid it will be full in one day. This monster riot is really a good thing. Roar. Suddenly, a terrifying roar sounded in the crack. Lin You, who had just set up a fort to kill the monster, was interrupted by the voice and looked over in shock. Then I saw a behemoth with 9 heads passing through the crack and slowly appearing. Accompanying. It is a powerful and suffocating terrifying power that swept all around. 10th Order monsters. Everyone, spread out. Just hearing an exclamation from the central platform, all the lords changed their expressions. At the same time, 2 figures of cultivators rose into the air, their bodies were as vast as the sea, and they attacked the 9-headed monster. Boom! The space burst, and the 2 cultivators collided with the 9-headed monster. That terrifying power actually knocked the monster out. Together with the surrounding space, it was completely shattered, turning into a gust of wind that swept the entire floating archipelago. Lin You couldn't react in time, and was thrown away several meters away by the gust of wind and fell onto the platform. 10th Order. This is definitely a 10th Order cultivator. Lin You was shocked. It was the first time he saw a 10th Order cultivator take action. He didn't expect that the power was not weaker than that of a 10th Order lord. It was just the aftermath that made him stand unsteady and fell to the ground. This level of battle is not something he can participate in. Especially after experiencing the incident of being involved in spatial turbulence before, he is much more cautious. Who dares to think too much? After taking a deep look at the central island in the distance, he teleports away directly and returns to his own territory. The screams of killing in his ears were also instantly clear. Call. Looking at the familiar environment around him, Lin You couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief and finally relaxed. Click on the regional channel to see. All are talking about monster riots. Damn it. I scared my baby to death. There was a 10th Order monster in the sanctuary just now. Fortunately, I ran fast. I also just teleported back, and it is estimated that there is no way to go to the sanctuary during this time. Dad, I was just brushing the secret realm, but the monsters in it all went berserk and almost died in it. My B-level secret realm is almost clear. B-level secret realm? Boss, I can't even beat C-level. Big brother, please take me. I also have to pass the B-level secret realm. I can attack, suffer, and warm the bed. Mingxin asks, what is the sanctuary? What is the secret realm? It seems that there are many lords who are like Lin You, teleporting back to the territory for refuge. And because of this incident, the 7th and 8th Order lords who didn't talk much on weekdays also showed up one after another, making the entire chat channel lively. No way. They can still deal with ordinary monsters, but chaotic monsters are a bit difficult. Especially those with deeper infection levels, their attributes are even more abnormal. This also made Lin You deeply aware. Lords can improve their strength through various treasures, and monsters can also strengthen themselves through other means. Forget it, stay in the territory for a few days. Anyway, it will take some time to build the 10th Order equipment. After closing the chat interface, Lin You directly took the 10th Order material he had just obtained, rushed to the dwarf tribe, and handed it over to McGann. Come and pick it up in 5 days. McGann took the materials and walked into the underground forge of the dwarves without looking back. When he was about to disappear, he didn't forget to add another sentence. don't forget the food you promised me. Don't worry, can I still give you less? Lin You didn't know whether to laugh or cry, then turned and left. Taking advantage of this time, he went to Huangsha City to take a look around again, to understand the progress of various tasks, and to see Wei Gang's military training. When we returned to the territory, it was already noon. Just click on the territory management interface and take a look. After this period of development, Huangsha City's daily revenue has basically stabilized at around 100,000, and after deducting various expenses, there is still 50,000 left. The power of faith has also increased slightly because the foreign residents have settled down, reaching around 33 o'clock every day. Counting the few faith orbs he used before, there are almost 2,000 faith power. If you continue at this rate, you should be able to reach the full value soon. What he lacks now is a large amount of magic energy to create enough symbiotic moss. Otherwise, with his 7th order strength, he would still be too stretched to face those high-ranking lords. But the problem is that now there is no way for the monsters in the sanctuary to go to the turmoil, and the main city has a temporary truce because the war has just passed, so they can't meet the lord of the original Shajia. It seems that we can only slow down first, and wait for the monster riot to pass. Lin You didn't think much, and clicked on the building interface again to check it out. During this time, he was running between the territory and the sanctuary, and about 5,000 units of ore had been mined. He thought about it and directly spent 2,000 units of ore to upgrade the mining field and magic tower to the 7th level. In this way, the efficiency of mining will be improved again, and the magic tower can also create 7th order enchanting scrolls, and you can make some and sell them when you are free. As for the remaining 3,000 units of ore, Lin You clicked on the basic buildings in the affiliated territories to check. Building name, Tower of Knowledge. Building level, 1st order. Building introduction, it can be used by citizens to learn various battles, life and various skills. The higher the building level, the higher the learning skill level. Daily consumption, 100 mana. Required for construction, 250 wood, 250 stone, 500 magic energy. Building name, Territory Tavern. Building level, 1st order. Building introduction, release recruitment information www.lightnovel.com to excavate talents and recruit them. The higher the building level, the higher the chance of recruiting professional talents. Daily consumption, 100 mana. Required for construction, 250 wood, 250 stone, 500 magic energy. Before, the population of Huangsha City was too small to use these two buildings. Not so now. Huangsha City has developed into a medium-sized city with a population of 100,000, and there must be many talents hidden in it, waiting to be discovered. Just decide between these two. While whispering, Lin You clicked on the construction interface, chose to build these two buildings in the inner city of Huangsha City, and used the remaining resources to directly upgrade to the 3rd level. With a flash of light, a tower surrounded by ruins and a huge tavern suddenly appeared in the Yellow Sand City, attracting countless passing residents and foreign merchants and practitioners to watch. What building is this? It seems to be a place where you can learn advanced skills. Advanced skills? Can my low-level tailor be promoted to intermediate level? It should be possible. It seems that combat skills can also be learned. Anything like this? Go. Let's go in and see. Amidst the exclamations, the people rushed into the knowledge tower excitedly to study various skills. And the same goes for pubs. After the people there found that a lot of recruitment information was published on it, many people immediately poured in to register their information. Then Lin You was surprised to find that he could actually check the basic information and occupational skills of these citizens. Just like Shuechangue and Wei Gang. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.